I always follow Combat Corner.
Hey fight fans, it's been a wild couple of days in the MMA world, and if you've been glued to your screen for the latest UFC updates, you're not alone. There's so much to talk about: huge fights, controversies, and even some behind-the-scenes drama. So grab your popcorn and let's break down the biggest UFC stories from the past 48 hours. UFC 310 Pantoja versus Asakura, the main event that's got everyone buzzing. Tonight's UFC 310 is shaping up to be a banger. All eyes are on the main event, where flyweight champion Alexandre Pantoja will defend his belt against Rizin standout Kai Asakura. Now, this fight is particularly exciting because Asakura is making his UFC debut in style, stepping straight into the title picture. That's almost unheard of, but hey, when you've got knockout power like Asakura, you earn that kind of respect. Pantoja, on the other hand, has been a beast at 125 pounds. He's riding high off his insane war with Brandon Moreno, and his grappling is second to none in the division. But don't think Asakura is walking into a submission clinic without a plan. The guy's striking is no joke, and if he can keep the fight standing, we might just witness an upset for the ages. In the co-main event, we've got undefeated monsters Shavkat Rakhmonov and Ian Gary throwing down in the welterweight division. Both of these guys are finishing machines, and the winner could very well be the next in line to challenge Belal Muhammad for the title. Rakhmonov's calm, calculated style contrasts beautifully with Gary's aggressive, flashy striking, so this fight could steal the show. Belal Muhammad's toe trouble, the champ, almost lost more than his belt. Speaking of Belal Muhammad, let's talk about the man's resilience. Belal recently revealed that he was battling a bone infection so severe that doctors considered amputating one of his toes. Yeah, you heard that right, amputation. Muhammad even joked, what if you just got rid of the toe? Would that solve everything? Imagine that your welterweight champ literally considering losing a toe just to stay in the game. If that's not warrior spirit, I don't know what is. Thankfully, the infection didn't spread and Belal's now on the road to recovery. He's back in the gym, but admits he's not quite 100% yet. Fans can expect to see him return to action early next year. And let's be honest, a healthy Belal is a dangerous Belal. Conor McGregor, the never-ending saga. What's an MMA news cycle without Conor McGregor, right? The former champ is making headlines yet again, but not for the reasons we'd hope. The civil court in Ireland recently ruled against McGregor, ordering him to pay $248,603.60 in damages for an alleged 2018 assault on a woman. Conor's legal troubles seem to follow him everywhere, and while he's denied the allegations and plans to appeal, this latest development throws a shadow over his already uncertain UFC future. Despite all this, Dana White hasn't completely closed the door on McGregor's return. The UFC president recently said Conor is always welcome in the UFC, but we're not rushing anything. If he's ready and cleared to compete, late 2025 could be a possibility. Meanwhile, Michael Chandler is still holding out hope for that big money fight with McGregor, saying he'll be ready whenever Conor decides it's go time, whether it happens or not. You can't deny McGregor's ability to keep himself relevant in the fight game, for better or worse. Dana White's note across promotions: Jon Jones versus Ngannou is dead in the water. One dream fight that won't be happening anytime soon is Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou. Fans have been clamoring for this heavyweight clash ever since Ngannou parted ways with the UFC 2. And joined the PFL. Even Saudi Arabian official Turki Al-Sheikh offered to make it happen, but Dana White was quick to shut it down. Jon's fighting Tom Aspinall next, and that's the fight everyone should be excited for, Dana said during a recent interview. And honestly, Aspinall has earned that spot. After dismantling Sergey Pavlovich at UFC 295, the British heavyweight looks like a real threat to Jones' dominance. While it's disappointing for fans of Ngannou, keeping the focus within the UFC makes sense for Dana. Still, can you imagine the fireworks if Ngannou and Jones ever met in the cage? Merab versus Umar Nurmagomedov, backstage drama heating up. We love some pre-fight drama, don't we? The UFC 311 bantamweight clash between Merab and Umar Nurmagomedov already had fans buzzing, but the tension just skyrocketed. In a heated exchange backstage during a pre-event press conference, these two nearly came to blows. According to eyewitnesses, it started with Umar throwing a verbal jab, saying Merab is just Aljamain's shadow. He can't stand on his own 2 feet without him, ouch. Merab, never one to back down, fired right back with, you talk a big game, but let's see how you handle my pressure when we're locked in that cage. Things escalated quickly, and security had to step in to separate the two. Honestly, this only makes their January 18th fight even more exciting. Both guys are cardio machines with relentless styles, and now there's real bad blood on top of it. Don't be surprised if this one ends up being fight of the night. UFC's heavyweight landscape, why Dana White is playing it safe. Let's circle back to the heavyweight division for a second. Dana White's decision to nix the potential cross-promotion bout between Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou has been met with mixed reactions. On one hand, it's a bummer for fans who wanted to see the two most dominant heavyweights of the era square off. On the other, Dana's focus on keeping things in-house makes sense. Tom Aspinall, the current interim champ, is no slouch. His dominant win over Sergey Pavlovich at UFC 295 proved he's more than ready for Jon Jones. Dana's been hyping this fight hard, saying Jon Jones is the greatest of all time and Tom is the future. This fight will show us where the division is headed. It's a smart move to keep the belt in the UFC and continue building stars like Aspinall. still, you can't help but wonder, what if? The Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Gary co-main clash. If you're a fan of calculated violence, the welterweight co-main event tonight at UFC 310 is for you. Shavkat Rakhmonov and Ian Gary are both undefeated killers, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Rakhmonov is coming off a submission win over Geoff Neal, and his ability to blend striking and grappling is second to none. Gary, on the other hand, has been on a meteoric rise, and his slick striking makes him one of the most exciting prospects in the division. Gary recently told reporters, "I'm going to put on a masterclass and prove I'm the next big thing in the welterweight division." Shavkat, being the stoic killer he is, kept it simple: "I will finish him." With a potential title shot against Belal Muhammad on the line, this fight is as high stakes as it gets. Don't blink, because someone's zero has got to go. Conor McGregor, the Chandler fight that refuses to die. Let's not forget the ongoing saga of Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. While Dana White is keeping Conor's return timeline vague, Chandler remains laser focused on making this fight happen. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I'm ready whenever Conor, as Chandler reiterated in a recent interview. Whether it's late 2025 or beyond, you can't deny the allure of this matchup. McGregor's star power and Chandler's relentless style would make for a fireworks-filled main event. Plus, it's one of those fights that doesn't need a belt on the line to sell pay-per-views. For now, though, all we can do is wait and see if the Notorious finds his way back to the octagon. A quick look ahead, what's next for the UFC. As we gear up for 2025, the UFC is in an exciting place. With young stars like Ian Gary, Tom Aspinall, and Umar Nurmagomedov making waves, the next generation is here, and they're ready to take over. Meanwhile, veterans like Jon Jones, Belal Muhammad, and yes, even Conor McGregor continue to keep fans invested. What's clear is that the UFC machine never stops. Whether it's backstage altercations, title defenses, or the next big prospect making their debut, there's always something to keep us on the edge of our seats. And let's be real, this is why we love this sport. All right, that's your full breakdown of the latest UFC news. From Pantoja's title defense to the never-ending McGregor saga, it's been a wild 48 hours in the fight game. What are you most excited about? Let me know, and I'll catch you in the next update.